Hi guys, it's Cassie. I hope you're doing well. So, my daughter, she has to work every other Saturday. And for this to happen and they don't have to pay overtime, she has off every other Thursday. So today I won't be leaving you at all. I'll stay the whole time. Yep, maybe. Just kidding. All right, let's get going. We stopped at a sidebar, of course, because we don't get enough sidebars in this OJ trial. We need more. And in case you were wondering, Fung is still being bullied on the stand. Poor guy. I wish I could save him, but at least it's not Kato. I don't want Kato to get bullied.
All right, Mr. Scheck, you need to be there for some particular good reason. You going to show him anything?
I may show him this document at some point to refresh
Don't use the podium until you need to.
Yeah, go away. That's what I've been saying, Judge. You're a little late. Hi, Kelly.
As I understand it, sir, you're saying you never received a written handout on how to collect and preserve body fluids, which would include blood, right?
I never received that handout, no.
Okay. But you did receive instruction orally.
Yes,
It's sort of the oral tradition in the laboratory in terms of training people.
yes,
And in terms of your training on how to collect and preserve a blood stain, part of it was you were told orally by someone to use a cloth swatch or cloth stripper threads removed from the swatch.
yes,
And you were told that the choice of the size of the swatch depends on the size of the stain that's to be collected.
yes,
And you were told that one should dampen the swatch with distilled water and remove the excess water by shaking it off.
I don't recall that being specifically.
You were told to apply the dampened swatch to the dried stain,
Yes,
to press it into the stain using tweezers.
yes,
Were you instructed orally not to rub the stain with the swatch?
no,
Let me show you this document, see if it refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you were ever told that one should not rub the stain with the swatch.
Sustain.
All right. Do you think somebody might have told you that one should not rub the stain with the swatch?
I don't recall anybody telling me not to rub.
Is it that you don't? Is that you have no specific memory of exactly the instructions you were given on how to pick up the stain?
That's correct.
All right. Let me now show you the document, see if it refreshes your recollection.
No, you need to ask a foundational question before you do
One
that.
more?
Yep.
All right. Do you remember one way or the other whether anybody ever told you not to rub the stain with the swatch?
Sustain. Would it refresh your recollection, Mr. Fung, to look at this document that's been shown to you, whether or not you received any instruction regarding rubbing of a blood sample in its collection?
No,
Proceed.
Were you told to place the swatch, once the stain had been removed, with the transferred stain, into a plastic bag for transportation,
yes,
and to put the plastic bag in a coin envelope with appropriate information on it?
yes,
Now, have you read anywhere else in the Los Angeles Police Department manual that one should not use a plastic bag for the transportation of wet bloodstains or wet items?
I don't recall that being in the manual.
I'm talking about now the Los Angeles Police Department manual.
The manual, the LAPD manual. I don't recall that.
Okay. Okay, guys. Guess what Josh found? JJJ. Guess what JJJ found? The video of the envelope being handed to Fung. But we don't know if it's the envelope, okay? There is something being handed to him. And Shaq is saying it's the envelope. All right. doesn't say that. Maybe you guys, you know what? Just watch. It's only a minute long. Judge, don't worry. You don't need to.
The first two tapes that we saw at two different angles are you and Miss Mazzola leaving. You're carrying brown bags in one hand, black valise in the other, correct?
Wait, is this the wrong one? I don't think this is the wrong one. I think we just need to wait a second.
And when you saw these series of tapes, Mr. Fung, you realized that you had been caught in a lie, didn't you?
No.
Okay, I'm going to get ready to pause it.
Mr. Fung,
Here we go, guys. Pay attention.
none of this ever happened
Okay, maybe I have the wrong
in terms
video.
of putting that gray manila envelope in that plastic bag. Isn't that right?
I got the wrong video. Hold on, give me a second. I got the
That's
wrong video.
incorrect.
I tried so hard. I'm going to press play on this while I pull up the right video. Just give me 2 seconds.
No.
Let me show you this document, see if it refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you were ever told that one should not rub the stain with a swatch.
Sustained.
All right. Do you think somebody might have told you that one should not rub the stain with the swatch?
I don't recall anybody telling me not to rub.
Is it that you don't? Is that you have no specific memory of exactly the instructions you were given on how to pick up the stain?
That's correct.
All right. Let me now show you the document, see if it refreshes your recollection.
No, you need to ask a foundational question before you do that.
One more?
Yep.
All right. Do you remember one way or the other whether anybody ever told you not to rub the stain with the swatch?
Sustained. Would it refresh your recollection, Mr. Fung, to look at this document that's been shown to you, whether or not you received any instruction regarding rubbing of a blood sample in its collection?
No.
No.
Proceed.
Nice, Ito.
Were you told to place the swatch, once the stain had been removed with a transferred stain, into a plastic bag for transportation,
Okay, this is it.
Yes.
and to put the plastic bag
But it's the Oklahoma City bombing of the
information on it?
Yes.
Now, have you read anywhere else in the Los Angeles Police Department manual that one should not use a plastic bag?
Shut up. Shut up. Okay, this is Court TV. So I'm going to put this in the description so that I make sure that they get all the credit that they are due. And then what we're going to watch is a few minutes of Court TV to see if we can see what they're handing. See, right there it is. So we are at 3-minute mark.
That?
Yes.
No question about it in your mind.
Yes.
Do you recall Andrea Mazzola kneeling on the ground and passing you that envelope, which you grasped with an ungloved bare hand?
No, I don't.
The one witness in the whole trial who stayed on the witness stand the longest was Dennis Fung.
Good to know.
Was sort of exhibit number one in terms of where the defense focus was going.
Okay,
There.
that looked too tiny to me. That looks like a smaller, that envelope only looks like this big, but a 8.5-inch envelope. Hold on. That looked too small. O.J. Simpson. Photos. All right. This is This is the envelope. Come on. Can you just show me the frickin' picture for crying out loud? This is the envelope. And if you look, it's not folded. Okay. Well, we just saw, and I'm going to rewind it. It had a fold. Like the top part was folded down. Does that make sense? Okay, you're right, Randy. You're right. But we're just talking about the envelope right now. This is the envelope that held the glasses. There's the glasses. There's the envelope. Okay. I guess there might be a fold here, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. This is what we just saw. Oh, I wish YouTube would let me rewind easier. Okay, here we go.
Exhibit number 1 in terms of where.
Look at that. That is not an 8.5-inch item. And when we see it in another second, this is folded down right here. And look at that. There's something in there. There's something big in there, but not glasses. It can't be glasses. Look, there's no room. See where his fingers are grasping? There's no room for the glasses would have to be folded in half. This can't be the envelope. It just can't be. Ready?
The defense focus was going.
Look at that. The bag is swinging back and forth at the bottom. That cannot be the glasses. It would be stiff. It would be stiff, or at least this. You know what I'm saying? So no, it can't be the glasses. It can't be. Play it in slow-mo. Gotcha. I don't know. It just can't be. I'm gonna go as slow as it'll let me. Okay.
The one witness in the whole trial whose terms of
Here we go.
where the defense focus was going.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not only, okay, Randy, I agree with you that, he shouldn't be touching evidence with his bare hands. I agree with you. But he's not collecting evidence. He's grabbing the evidence that is already inside of an envelope from her. What's her name? Maria? No, the glasses are not broken in half. So I don't know how I feel about, lots of people touch evidence bags without gloves on. Not the evidence inside, just like the bag. Like even in all the cop shows you see, they pull out the big box from evidence and then they start rifling through it and then they pull out the evidence. Nobody's ever wearing gloves, ever, that I see. So all right. All right, I'm going to get rid of this because, oh, wait. No, I got to get rid of this. Yeah. I hope I don't get demonetized for that, but we had to see that. That was so important. The defense are liars. They're criminals and they're liars. And you know what? It only took us 1 second of looking at that videotape to know that that is just a humongous lie. Where's the prosecutor right now? I know she's going to get to cross or recross or whatever soon, but such an obvious lie, and the defense got that into the jury's heads. All right, let's just keep going. Oh, wait. Yep, we're good. Everything's
For
good,
the
guys.
transportation of wet bloodstains or wet items.
I don't
Josh,
recall
thank
being
you.
in the
That was
manual.
awesome.
I'm talking about now the
Awesome.
Los Angeles Police Department manual.
It's the manual, the LAPD manual. I don't recall that.
Dream team dreaming up evidence.
Do you recall section 525.20, preserving wet stains?
No.
All right. Do you recall any section of the Los Angeles Police Department manual that says items containing wet blood, semen, or chemical stains shall be permitted to dry at room temperature before packaging? Plastic containers or plastic wrap shall not, in italics, be used as packaging material.
Call something to that effect, yes.
Show you this document, see if it
Get back to the podium,
refreshes your
little
recollection.
man.
Where, here? Here.
Thanks for raising my blood pressure, Josh. I haven't swore at OJ in months. Okay,
Yes.
weeks. Okay, days.
Now, I think you indicated that. I think you indicated that you were familiar with.
Yes.
Okay, hours.
You're familiar with a gentleman named Barry Fisher,
Yes.
and who is he?
Barry Fisher is
Yeah, man.
I think he's the director of the LA Sheriff's Office, Crime Lab.
And you indicated that you were familiar with at least one of the editions of his book, Techniques of Crime Scene Investigation.
I have looked at certain sections of one of the editions, yes.
Which sections?
I don't recall all the sections I've looked at.
Well, do you recall looking at any sections with respect to the collection and preservation of evidence?
Over- I said overruled, but at this point it is. He hasn't asked a question regarding the book yet. Premature. Proceed.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. What you said you were familiar with some sections of this book, Techniques of Crime Scene Investigation, some edition, correct?
Yes.
Which sections are you familiar with?
Again, I don't recall every section that I've read out of that book.
Do you recall if you read any sections dealing with the collection of evidence?
Still vague at this point as to what edition of the book he's talking about.
Overruled.
The whole book deals with collection of evidence.
Do you remember reading any section of the book that concerned collection of evidence of wet stains and putting them in plastic bags?
I don't recall reading something like that, no.
That wasn't in your edition?
I don't recall if it was or not.
He's driving me crazy.
May I have a moment, Your Honor? Do you recall? Are you familiar with the book called Criminalistics, An Introduction to Forensic Science by Richard Saperstein?
I am familiar with one of the editions, yes.
And this is a book that I take it you studied when in your training, criminalistics.
Yes,
It's fundamental text in the field.
one of them.
Now, do you recall in this book any discussion about packaging bloodstain evidence in plastic or airtight containers?
Your Honor, it assumes that this witness has read this particular version of this book.
Overruled.
Remember of it?
In any of the editions that you read?
It may have been, but I don't recall.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Call your attention to this page of what is the fourth edition of Criminalistics, An Introduction to Forensic Science by Richard Saperstein. Ask you to read that paragraph and see if it refreshes your recollection.
You may. Mrs. Robertson.
Yes.
Now, this book, Criminalistics, An Introduction to Forensic Science, whatever edition you read, is this a text that you considered in forming your opinions as a criminalist in your testimony in this case?
Overruled.
Could you repeat that again?
Sure. Is this book part of the training that you underwent, which came to be a part of the basis for which you used in offering your opinions as a criminalist in this case?
Certain portions of it.
I think he said the answer was certain
Opinions.
portions.
I assume we're going to work down to what it is.
Right. Now, which portions did you rely upon or did you consider in forming your opinions as a criminalist in your testimony in this case?
Overruled.
Which portions?
I don't recall what specific portions.
Well, would it include discussion of collection of bloodstains? Wouldn't the things that Safarstein said in his book with respect to the collections of bloodstains be data that you considered in forming your judgments in this case about how to collect bloodstains?
Your Honor, that assumes the fact that he's talking about the collection of bloodstains as opposed to final packaging.
Overruled.
This is something I did consider, yes.
And doesn't Safarstein say that the packaging of blood evidence in a plastic or airtight containers must be avoided because the accumulation of residual moisture could contribute to the growth of blood-destroying bacteria and fungi?
You're saying under 721, also ambiguous as to whether he's talking about final packaging.
Overruled.
Preferably, each stained article should be packaged separately in a paper bag or well-ventilated box.
That's what the book says.
Now, do you agree with that, sir?
I agree with that in the regard if for final packaging. In the intermediate stage, I do not agree with that.
So in other words, for temporary packaging, it's okay to put a wet blood stain in plastic.
Well, it's vague as to the word packaging.
Overruled.
Please repeat it.
Sure. So is it your position that it's sound practice to put a wet blood stain in a plastic bag temporarily?
That's the way I was taught and trained to do it in the Los Angeles Police Department, yes.
So it's fair to say that you were taught in the Los Angeles Police Department to put wet blood stains in plastic bags when packaging them.
Wait a minute, that misstates the testimony. There's
Overruled.
collection and packaging.
Overruled.
That's what you were taught.
Counsel.
So-
Remember the direction on how objections should be made. Proceed.
That's what you were taught.
No, that's not what I was taught.
Weren't you taught to, when collecting these swatches, all right, containing blood that are wet, to put them in plastic bags?
Yes.
And isn't that contrary to what you learned from Safarstein and others as to sound practices with respect to packaging wet stains?
My interpretation of what Mr. Safarstein wrote is that they should not be booked in, or they should not be packaged in plastic for in a final state.
Well, is there anything, to your knowledge, in this book that indicates that it's okay to you to package a wet blood stain in plastic, even temporarily?
It's overly broad, Your Honor, the entire book.
Overruled.
I don't think the book addresses it.
Well, to the extent the book addresses it, it says, don't put wet blood stains in plastic.
Misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
Safarstein says, the packaging of bloodstained evidence in plastic or airtight containers must be avoided. True?
Yes.
And it doesn't say must be avoided in the long term. It says must be avoided, period, right?
Your Honor, it's argumentative.
Sustained.
Now, a plastic bag is a package, isn't it, sir?
Argumentative.
Overruled.
Can be considered packaging, yes.
And Safarstein says, don't put wet bloodstains in plastic packaging, right?
Misstates the evidence.
Overruled.
Oh, excuse me, go ahead. Could you restate it?
Saperstein says don't put wet bloodstains in plastic packages, right?
Misstates the evidence.
Overruled.
The, my interpretation of what he says in that regard is towards final packaging.
Are you familiar with Forensic Science, An Introduction to Criminalistics by DeForest, Ganslin, and Dr. Murray?
I have looked at portions of that book, yes.
And do you recall what these gentlemen say about packaging wet bloodstains in plastic?
Not specifically, no.
All right. You read some edition of this book,
If the cover hasn't changed, it's probably that edition.
probably this edition. And you considered this book in forming your opinions as a criminalist with respect to testimony that you've given in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to show you now.
Certainly.
Call your attention on page 245 to this paragraph,
This entire paragraph?
the whole paragraph. That's it. Now, the section you've just read is a section entitled Collection, Preservation, and Packaging of Blood Evidence.
Yes.
And these authors say that garments bearing wet or moist blood stains should never, and the never is in bold, be sealed in airtight containers such as plastic bags. Under such conditions, the specimens retain their moisture, encouraging bacterial growth.
That's what it says.
Now, Mr. Fung, the danger, would you not agree, of packaging a wet bloodstain in a plastic bag is this problem of bacterial growth.
It promotes bacterial growth, yes.
And what bacteria does when it begins to form in, let's say, a wet stain in a plastic bag, is the bacteria will begin to eat away at the DNA.
It will begin to degrade it.
Yes, the term degrade. Could you tell the jury what the term degrade means?
Degrade in that sense means that the genetic proteins or DNA is broken down by the bacteria.
Is it sort of a situation like if you put like milk being spoiled when it's left out for a long time, the bacteria begins to form within it? That be an analogy that you think would be appropriate? Souring milk?
It's a rough analogy.
And would you not agree, sir, that when biological materials such as wet bloodstains begin to degrade through bacterial contamination, that there is greater danger of cross-contaminating those degraded samples than if the samples had not been degraded?
It's unintelligible, Your Honor.
And let me rephrase that because it is unintelligible. I'm sorry.
Sustained.
Sustained and self-censored.
Yes, sustained.
Uh,
I was just reading it myself here.
All right. Let's start it this way. Let us assume that we started with one of these red swatches, such as you took from the Bundy crime scene, and the sample was not degraded. You with me?
Gotcha.
And then through the process of collection and handling, one got, let's say, blood from another sample and accidentally touched or cross-contaminated the sample you picked up. Are you with me?
So I have a sample collected and another sample touched the first sample.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's that concept we were talking about before of the secondary transfer or cross-contamination.
Okay.
Now, if the sample that you had collected was degraded, right?
Which sample was that?
The sample you originally collected, let us assume it is put in a plastic bag. It is left for 7 or 8 hours, that it is left in a heated condition, and that that sample is subjected to bacterial contamination. You with me?
Yes.
And that bacterial contamination would begin to eat away at the original DNA in that sample.
Beyond this, beyond the scope of direct this expertise, at this point, it's impossible to follow the hypothetical.
Overruled.
I don't know at what point the bacteria will start to eat away.
Well, at some point, you agree, bacterial contamination will degrade samples.
At some point.
All right. And let us assume for purposes of this hypothetical that if you left a wet blood stain in a plastic bag for 7 hours, that there would be substantial degradation of the original DNA in that stain. Are you with me on this?
This is hypothetical.
Yes.
Sustained.
I'm just trying to set up a step. Would you agree, sir, that a blood stain which has been degraded through bacterial contamination such that some or most or all of the original DNA has been destroyed is a sample that can be easily cross-contaminated with a degraded such that it has the original DNA in it has been destroyed?
Cross-contamination and degradation are two different concepts.
All right. Sample A. Are you with me now?
Yes.
Let us assume that sample A or swatch A has been degraded and the original DNA has been destroyed by bacteria.
Yes.
Now you take sample B and you get some blood or cellular material from sample B onto sample A. You follow that?
You have one degraded sample and one with an undegraded sample.
That has undegraded DNA, yes.
And now what?
And you touch them to each other.
Okay.
That would be a cross-contamination.
Yes.
Such a cross-contamination with a degraded sample presents special dangers, doesn't it?
I don't know what
Overruled.
I don't know what you refer to by special dangers.
Well, wouldn't it be true that if one sample is degraded, sample A, and it is touched by sample B, then the only DNA we're going to have on sample A is the DNA from sample B?
Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
All right. So as far as you're concerned, the degradation of samples does not present special risks of cross-contamination.
My understanding of degradation and is that the sample or the genetic material within a biological sample will break down. Contamination has to do, or cross-contamination has to do with putting in contact one sample with another.
And
And they're two different concepts.
well, let's try to merge them. If one sample is degraded and the other one, and that sample is then
You can't just merge things in science, dude. You have no idea.
cross-contaminated, wouldn't you agree there's a special danger there because you would have a more complete contamination?
Sustained. That's vague. Special danger. Counsel, he's testified he hasn't been in the serology section. He's
All right.
not familiar with DNA.
I believe it.
All right, let's move on.
Were you told
Overruled.
Were you told in your process of, in your lectures on how to collect biological evidence to clean tweezers following each use to avoid cross-contamination?
Yes.
And the way that you were taught to clean the tweezers was just to take distilled water and rub it across the tweezers.
No.
Take distilled water, put it on, how do you clean it?
A Kim wipe or a cotton applicator is wet with distilled water, and the tweezers are wiped with either the Kim wipe or cotton applicator until they are clean.
You say till they look clean.
Until they are clean, yes.
Well, until they, just from a visual inspection, appear to be clean.
Visual inspection and until nothing is coming off of the tweezers.
Well, you have been instructed then that by simply wiping the tweezers with a chem wipe and dampened with distilled water, that would be sufficient to remove DNA from those tweezers. That's what you've been told.
Yes.
Now, if you were with somebody that had a deadly virus, a serious virus, and they just ate something with a spoon, and then you just wipe that spoon with a chem wipe of distilled water, would you be reluctant to then use that spoon to eat?
Irrelevant.
Sustain.
Do you know what a virus is?
Irrelevant.
Oh, well, size-wise, it's relevant.
Do I know what a virus is? Yes.
All right, and is a virus really, in some ways, just a sequence of DNA?
I don't know.
I don't mean to alarm you all. Okay, maybe I do. But look, he snaps right here because the last big dip, I guess that's not a dip because dips go down. Can I just say dip? Peak. The last big peak we had like this was when he was yelling at Fung before. When Fung said, I didn't grab the envelope from her. I'm sure I didn't, which he didn't. He didn't, by the way. Sorry. Look, we got another one right here, but it's 2 hours away from now. We're not going to get to it today unless we do. I'm not going to say. Anyway, I just need to see what number video we're on. Ooh. We're on video 194, guys. 194. I need to grab this playlist really, 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 really quick. I can do it over here.
Are you familiar with the methods that are used at DNA laboratories to clean tweezers or to cleanse tweezers between touching samples?
No.
Do you know whether they take those tweezers and they literally put them in a Bunsen burner or autoclave them?
Some specs and methods.
Oh, well, are you familiar with the techniques?
No.
Proceed.
Has anybody at the Los Angeles Police Department Crime Lab suggested that instead of just cleaning the tweezers with distilled water and chem wipes, that it might be a good idea to get disposable tweezers?
No one's made that suggestion to me.
Now, has anybody told you, but as part of this instruction that you got, with respect to collecting samples for purposes of DNA testing, were you not instructed to collect as much of the stain as possible, especially if RFLP DNA analysis may be necessary as a future analysis?
Collect as much of the stain as possible, yes.
Especially if RFLP DNA analysis be necessary as a future analysis.
The last part of that, I don't recall, but for DNA purposes, I was taught to collect as much of it as possible.
So whether it's be RFLP or PCR, as far as you were concerned, your instructions were collect as much of that blood stain as possible for purposes of future DNA testing.
Yes.
And that's what you did in this case.
That's what I attempted to do, yes.
That's what you attempted to do.
Yes.
Now, when you collected the blood stains in this case, withdraw. You were present, you say, on many occasions when Miss Mazzola was swatching the blood stains in this case.
Yes.
And you put them into plastic bags,
Yes.
the swatches.
Yes.
And then the plastic bags were put inside coin envelopes.
Yes.
And would you agree, sir, that it's very important to keep good documentation of exactly how much evidence you are collecting when you're collecting it? Let me try it another way. Would you not agree that it would be important to count the number of swatches that you or Ms. Mazzola took for each blood stain that you collected?
No.
No?
No.
Well, you did not count the number of swatches you collected for each blood stain, did you?
That's correct.
And each blood stain did not require exactly the same number of swatches.
That's correct.
They varied.
Yes.
Some had more, some had less.
Swatches?
Yes.
Yes.
And you have absolutely no records of how many swatches you put into the plastic bag for any blood stain collected in this case.
The stain is the evidence, not the swatch, so I didn't record the number of swatches.
Well, the stain is the evidence when you first see it, correct?
Yes,
But the stain is transferred to a swatch
or swatches.
or swatches, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, the swatches become the evidence that is analyzed.
No, the stain is the important.
Aren't the swatches that contain the blood the physical item that is eventually taken to the laboratory and analyzed for purposes of DNA testing?
The swatches are a medium to carry the stains.
Well, don't you regard the swatch as evidence?
I consider the stain to be the evidence, and the swatch is merely a vehicle to transport the stains.
It's another form of evidence.
The swatch is another form of evidence?
Yeah. It's a form of evidence.
The stain is the evidence.
All right, let's move on.
You did not, after you put the only number, the only way you could track the number of swatches was by the photo identification number. Isn't that true?
The only way I can track,
Yeah, when you or Miss Mazzola, when Miss Mazzola swatched a blood stain, she put a series of swatches into a plastic bag.
yes,
And the identifying number that was placed on the plastic bag or the coin envelope was the photo identification number.
yes,
That's because you didn't have item numbers when you were collecting the samples on June 13th.
Overbroad as George sees.
Rephrase the question.
As far as Bundy was concerned, for each blood drop at Bundy, all you had was a photo identification number. Is that right?
for the evidence, yes.
Yes. So that's how you kept track of it. There was a bag, it had a 117 on it, and a certain number of swatches were put into it.
We also measured and had it photographed.
All right. But it turns, when you walked away from the scene, all you had was a plastic bag and a coin envelope with a photo ID number on it.
Yes,
And you did not write down on the plastic bag the number of swatches that were put into it.
no,
And you did not write down on the coin envelope the number of swatches that were put into it.
no,
And when you got back to the laboratory, you told us about a procedure whereby you removed swatches from plastic bags.
yes,
And when you removed the swatches from the plastic bag, you made no notation about how many swatches you were removing from one of those plastic bags and coin envelopes.
that's correct.
And when you put the swatches into a test tube, you made no notes as to how many swatches you were putting into one of those test tubes.
That's correct.
And when you took the swatches out of the test tube and they were put into bindles, you made no notation of how many swatches you were putting into the bindles.
Senator, at this point, it's argument, you say you didn't vote.
Overruled.
That's correct.
So you have absolutely no records from the time that the swatches were collected at Bundy to the time that they were put into those bindles as to how many swatches there were for each blood drop.
That's correct, because the stain is the evidence, not the swatches.
And you had no count on those swatches.
That's right.
And isn't it part of your responsibility in collecting evidence to maintain a chain of custody?
Yes,
And wouldn't you agree, as part of that chain of custody, it was important to know how many swatches you had when you first collected the stain and how many swatches you had when you got to the lab?
They used the term chain of custody.
Sustain.
Chain of custody is what, sir, in your opinion?
the chain of custody is recording when you take custody of an item of evidence and when you release the item of evidence and to whom and at what time.
And included within chain of custody is trying to make a record so you can be assured that you have, at a later point in time, exactly the same items that you first collected.
No, that's not exactly right.
It's not part of the chain of custody concept to keep track of the number of swatches in case some of them might get lost.
Could you repeat the question?
Wouldn't you consider it important from the point of view of chain of custody, to keep track of the number of swatches that you first collected and the number of swatches that you delivered to the criminalists, because some swatches could get lost.
Compound.
Overruled.
As long as I took care to handle the evidence properly, I wouldn't count the swatches.
Well, if you collected, or Ms. Mazzola collected 6 swatches for item 49, and 4 swatches were delivered to the criminalist, you would have no way of knowing whether 2 of them were missing, would you? Because you have no count.
It's irrelevant, Your Honor.
Overruled.
That's correct.
And you would have no way of knowing, because you have no count, whether somebody switched swatches before they went to the analyst.
The items of evidence were in our custody there, and I don't think anybody had the opportunity to switch.
In terms of counts, you would have no idea.
In terms of count alone,
Yeah, in terms of count.
in terms of count,
And isn't it true that each of these little red swatches looks just like the other one?
Vague is to the term just like.
Sustained.
Do these swatches look like each other? Little red pieces of cloth.
Still vague.
Overruled.
they're not exactly alike.
Well, could you take a look at these swatches that you collected on in the morning at Bundy, and look at them later and tell just by looking at them that these were the same swatches that you originally collected?
No.
No way of doing that, right?
No.
And have you heard of the term fungible evidence?
No.
The notion that there are certain kinds of evidence that because each of the pieces look like each other, you can't tell them apart?
I've never heard that term before.
Never heard that term. Be fair to say, Mr. Fung, that just by looking at them, you couldn't tell the Rockingham swatches from the Bundy swatches?
By looking at just swatches alone,
Just looking at swatches alone.
it would be very difficult. I don't think I could do it.
No one could do it.
Maybe somebody could do it, but not me.
Your Honor, I'm about to move into a new line. You want me to start?
We're going to conclude this morning.
Judge, make him conclude. Make him.
Now-
Force him.
Mr. Fung, you indicated that you performed a phenothalin test, a presumptive test on the Rockingham glove.
Yes.
And in your opinion, was it absolutely necessary to do a phenothalin test on the Rockingham glove on the morning of June 13th?
It was important to the investigator. So
Well, I'm sorry.
I did perform it.
Well, when you say it was important to the investigator, you mean Detective Van Adder told you that you should do it?
Yes.
Right. And did you say to him, it's better not to manipulate evidence at the scene? It's good to leave it as much as one can in an undisturbed condition so that it can later be analyzed in a proper setting back at the laboratory?
I didn't state that to him, no.
Well, you believe that, don't you?
Yes.
And he asked you to do a pheno test on that Rockingham glove. And you didn't say to him, you didn't question his judgment about whether that should be done.
It was a reasonable request.
When you say a reasonable request, you did not perform a presumptive test on the cap at Bundy, did you?
No, I did not.
And when you were asked at the preliminary hearing why you didn't perform the test, a presumptive test on the hat at Bundy, you said because it's best not to manipulate the evidence and leave it in as much in an undisturbed condition as possible so it could later be analyzed at the proper setting back at the laboratory.
Yes, I said that.
And you believe that when you manipulate evidence at the scene, valuable trace evidence can be lost.
Yes.
And so what you try to do generally is leave it as undisturbed as possible by packaging and bringing it back to the lab.
Yes, when
But-
possible.
Well, in this case, wouldn't it have been possible to just put that Rockingham glove into a package and take it back to the lab?
I felt that by applying a wet cotton swab to a stained area of the glove, that it would be minimally invasive to the evidence.
Well, couldn't you make that argument for the hat too then?
That's argument.
Sustain.
Isn't that what you would have done to the hat? Put the swab onto the hat and then try to perform a test on it?
If Detective Lang had requested me to do so, I don't think I would have objected.
So in other words, in your opinion, it's best not to manipulate the items at the scene by doing presumptive tests, in your judgment as a criminalist, but if the detective asks you to do so, you're just going to do it.
It's overbroad.
Sustain.
Well, in other words, if Detective Lang, you're saying, had asked you to perform a presumptive test on the hat, you would have done it, notwithstanding your judgment that it's best not to manipulate evidence at the scene.
That's correct, because that by doing that, it would not compromise the evidence.
Then why did you say in the grand jury when asked why you did not perform a presumptive test on the hat, you went on to talk about how you didn't do it because it's best not to manipulate the evidence at the scene.
Ideally, that is the case.
And why didn't, but you didn't turn to Detective Lang and say, you really shouldn't be asked, withdrawn. You didn't turn to Detective Van Adder and say, Detective Van Adder, this is an important piece of evidence, this Rockingham glove. It would be best to take it back to the lab and analyze it carefully.
That was not the case.
You did not say that to him.
I did not say that, and it's not true.
It's not true that it's an important piece of evidence?
It's not true that by performing a phenolphthalein test on the glove, that any trace evidence or any other type of damage, relevant damage, would be done to the glove.
Well, if that's true, why don't you perform presumptive tests on every piece of evidence?
It's not necessary to do so.
But it was necessary here because the detective asked you.
That's correct.
How much more do you have, Mr. Chair?
Oh, I have that. I have the afternoon.
Last time we spoke, you said it was the morning.
No, I didn't. I specifically said it would be the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our recess for the afternoon at this time. Please remember my admonitions to you. Do not, let's have it quiet in the courtroom, please. Please remember my admonitions to you. Do not discuss the case amongst yourselves. You are not to form any opinions about the case. You are not to allow anybody to communicate with you with regard to the case. Do not conduct any deliberations with regard to the case. I'm advised by the sheriff's deputies that
My
over
wildfire.
the weekend at one of the outings, somebody from a band from one of the universities here in Southern California attempted to communicate with you with regards to this case. You were to disregard that attempt to communicate with you. It was something that should not have happened. I think you will take, for what it's worth, the source of that attempt and treat it accordingly. Disregard it. All right, we'll stand in recess.
I want to
members.
communicate with them. Oh, I wash my hands a billion times a day. Oh, yeah. Skin on my
Your panel,
hands.
Mr. Dennis Fung, is again on the witness stand, undergoing cross-examination by Mr. Scheck. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Fung.
Good afternoon.
You're reminded you were still under oath, sir. And Mr.
It was
Scheck,
the
you
Grateful
may
Dead, I bet.
continue with
I
your
bet.
cross-examination.
Thank you very much, John. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Mr. Fung. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon.
Let's move on to the search of the Bronco on June 14th. You testified on direct examination that on the morning of June 14th, you and Ms. Mazzola conducted a search of Mr. Simpson's Ford Bronco.
Yes.
And about what time did you commence to do that, sir?
We started at about 10:30 in the morning.
And before you went to search the Bronco, you were over at the SID headquarters, so to speak,
At the crime lab, yes.
the crime lab. And that's on 555 Ramirez Street.
Yes, it is.
And how far away is the print shed from there?
About a mile.
And did you drive from the crime laboratory to the print shed?
Yes,
And about how long do you think that took?
5 minutes.
So about what time do you believe you left the crime laboratory?
Approximately 10:15, 10:20.
Now, you told us on direct examination that you needed the assistance of a detective to open the Bronco.
Yes,
And this is a detective from a certain division of the Los Angeles Police Department.
yes.
And what is that division?
I believe the detective was from Burglary Auto Division.
And is that sometimes referred to as BAD or bad on forms?
Yes.
And this detective, do you recall who this individual was?
Sorry, I do not.
Did this individual have to sign in before coming to the print shed and opening the Bronco?
No.
To your knowledge, is there any record of this person's presence at the print shed?
No.
Now, you said that this individual came and opened Bronco with a, what's known as a Slim Jim.
Yes.
Could you describe that for us?
It's a thin piece of metal, approximately 2.5 feet in length, and it's slightly rigid.
And this detective
And
just takes
again,
this
I'm going to say it
Slim Jim.
again. I told you in a stream this week sometime, if you don't have a Slim Jim, get one. I don't know how many of you went out and got one, but you should go get one. It's just, you need one.
And pushes it down
Snap into
between
a Slim Jim.
the window and the car door in the area the lock pulls it at, and the door's open.
No, no foundation of this was no such feedback.
Or
That's
what did you observe?
that's what I observed.
Took a matter of seconds.
He worked at it for a little while.
Well, 30 seconds, a minute.
Somewhere in that time frame.
So, all right. So 30 seconds to a minute to open that door with the Slim Jim in and out.
Roughly, yes.
And you've seen other detectives do that, haven't you?
I've seen other people do it. Yes.
Well, that's abject Lewis's answer to the question.
Or
Now, you also conducted a search of the Bronco on June 28th.
Yes.
And by that time, the Bronco had been moved from the print shed and taken to a place called Vertel's.
Say June 28th.
Yes, June 28th.
Yes.
Now, you made out reports with respect to both searches, the search on June 14th and the search on June 28th.
Property reports? Is that what you're referring to?
A form called a vehicle search checklist.
Yes.
This is a form that's similar to the crime scene checklist,
Except it's applied towards vehicles. Yes.
except it's applied to vehicles. And on the crime scene checklist, withdrawn, on the vehicle search checklist, on page 3, there is a box or a line where you're supposed to indicate how the vehicle is opened.
Your Honor, we didn't ask anything about June 28th, it's beyond the scope.
sustain.
Your Honor, I believe that
Sidebar.
Sure.
Well, the OJ team never really got paid, did they?
All right. Thank you, Counsel. Proceed.
as we were saying, Mr. Fung, on June 28th, you went to this place called Vertel's. Is that correct?
Yes.
And could you tell the jury what Vertel's is?
Vertel's is a police impound lot.
And where is that located?
It's on Temple Street in Rampart Division, I believe.
And you're aware of the fact that on June 15th, the Bronco was towed from the print shed to Vertel's.
I don't know when the exact date it was towed, but it was towed.
All right. By the time you went back on June 28th, however, the Bronco was in Vertel's. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And at that time, you needed to open the Bronco again to conduct a further search.
On the 28th?
On the 28th.
On the 28th, I believe it was unlocked.
Well, on the 28th, you were going back there to search for the shovel, the plastic bag, and the towel.
Yes.
And you filled out a vehicle search checklist for
I
that
got one
search
of
on the
those
28th.
too.
Yes, I
I
did.
And you
need
have
it.
it there before you, do you not, sir?
Yes, I do.
And in the box, which indicates how opened, you wrote BADDETS. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Do you have that page in front of you right now?
Yes, I do.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I take the piece of paper out of the witness's book and put it on the Elmo?
Is that the original, Mr. Fung?
No, it is not.
Or
Copy.
do you have a clean copy?
I don't have a clean copy at the moment. I would prefer the original, if that's,
Well, if the witness is referring to it while we're having testimony, go ahead and use what he has if you have a clean copy. Is yours a clean copy, Mr. Fung?
Somewhat, yes. There's no writing on,
All right.
additional writing.
No, Mr. Fung indicates that this is a clean copy without any additional writing. Why don't you use his copy?
now this is June 28th, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, and you indicate on your crime scene checklist how opened, and you wrote down BAD detectives.
Yes,
So that would be the burglary auto detectives detail,
yes,
and that's June 28th, correct?
that's right.
All right. Now, would you turn and look at your vehicle search checklist for June 14th? I'd like to put a copy.
All right. Do you want to mark the one
Yes.
from June 28th?
The page from the vehicle search checklist for June 28th is 1085, and the vehicle search checklist page from the June 14th is 1086.
All right. And what we will do is return the original to Mr. Fung, and I'll have my staff make a photocopy for the record. All right, Mr. Harris. Do we have a copy for the record?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, did you capture that last? All right. Just trying to protect your record, counsel.
Now, looking at the June 14th vehicle search checklist, in the box indicating how opened, you left that blank. Is that correct?
Yes,
But it's your testimony that the BAD detectives did not assist you on June 28th, but they did assist you on June 14th?
yes,
When you fill out these vehicle search checklists, you do it contemporaneously as the events are happening, do you not?
not always, no.
Well, do you fill it out soon after the events of the search?
I fill out the evidence collection sheet contemporaneously, and I'll fill in other portions later.
Well, would you have waited, or did you wait to fill out the vehicle search checklist, page 3 on June 14th, the one that's right up on the screen? Did you wait until June 28th to fill that out, or did you fill it out sometime before?
Sustain.
This checklist concerns the search you conducted on the 14th.
Yes, it does.
What date did you fill out page 3 of that, to the best of your recollection?
I don't recall.
Would it have been a week later?
Could have been,
Would it have been 2 weeks later?
could have been.
It's your testimony that you actually waited until June 28th to fill out the vehicle search checklist for the search you conducted on June 14th?
It may have been later.
Well, when did you fill out the vehicle search checklist for June 28th?
I filled out portions of that on June 28th.
Well, let's talk about the how open box. Did you fill that one out on June 28th?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Mr. Fung, isn't it possible that you're confused between June 14th and June 28th, and that the BAD detectives actually came on June 28th, as your records indicate, and not June 14th?
I recall the BAD detective being at the print shed, and I do not recall a BAD detective being at Fratel's.
Well, would you agree, sir, that in terms of the checklists, the forms that you're supposed to fill out to keep your recollection fresh for future testimony, that the forms indicate that the BAD detectives came on the 28th, not the 14th?
That's what the forms indicate.
So do you concede it's even possible, sir, that you didn't need any detectives to open that door for you on June 14th?
No, sir, the Bronco was locked on June 14th.
And you're saying that because of your own independent recollection, not because you think that that's testimony that the prosecution would like to have in this case.
That's from my recollection.
notwithstanding what your forms show.
in spite of what my forms show.
You need to make a photocopy of that for the record, counsel. We did. All right, 1085.
So to sum it all up with one last question, your testimony is your forms are wrong.
That portion is incorrect, yes.
Now, when you went about your search on June 14th, without telling us what was said, did either Detective Lang or Van Adder share with you a theory that the killer had walked out of the rear gate at Bundy and entered the Bronco? Without telling us what they said, did they share a theory to that effect with you?
Oh, you can answer the question.
Could you repeat what
Sure.
the theory?
Without telling us what was said, did either Detective Lang or Detective Van Adder share with you a theory that they had that the killer had walked out of Bundy through the rear gate and entered the Bronco in the alley?
I don't know if there was a direct conversation, but that's what I inferred.
So in other words, there was some discussion of what we called before crime scene reconstruction that guided you in terms of your search.
We don't need no stinking punctuation.
It gave us an indication of where to possibly look for additional evidence.
Now, without telling us what was said, did either Detective Lang or Detective Van Adder share with you Mr. Simpson's June 13th explanation about bleeding in the Bronco on the evening of June 12th?
Sustained.
Well, did Detective Van Adder or Lang share with you anything to guide your search that derived from their conversations with Mr. Simpson on June 13th?
Sustained. Assumes facts that aren't in evidence.
Now, when you conducted the search of the Bronco at the print shed, you were there for 3 hours,
Approximately.
and there was no press there?
Well, there's camera shots of it, but they weren't in the immediate vicinity on the 14th.
You allowed press photographers into the print shed when you were conducting the search?
I didn't see them, but they must have had a lens that was very high-powered telephoto lens.
There were, what, you mean you've seen press clippings or footage of your work in the Bronco since on June 14th?
Certain portions were captured by the news media, yes.
Well, as far as you knew at the time, however, when you were conducting the search on June 14th, you didn't see any press people inside the print shed when you were doing your work.
They weren't anywhere near there.
Okay. And so they were not distracting you in any way.
I was quite surprised when I saw it.
And there were no high-ranking police officials looking over your shoulder when you were conducting this search on June 14th.
What do you mean by high ranking?
Well, what's a high rank to you?
Chief?
Chief. Okay. Were there any? Were there any other police officials looking over your shoulder when you were doing the search of the Bronco on June 14th?
Detective Watts was present.
That's it?
There was a photographer, Criminals Mazzola, and I believe a print person was present also.
Incidentally, on what news station did you see this footage of you working, searching the Bronco on June 14th?
I don't remember what station it was.
Was that something you saw on television or something that the district attorney showed you?
It was something from television.
And this was around the time of June 14th?
This was that night.
That night? You don't remember which station? Okay. Now, you knew the search of this Bronco was important, did you not?
Yes,
And you were trying to do as complete a job as you possibly could.
I was trying to get the biological evidence during that crime scene.
And you were trying to do a complete job of getting the biological evidence, if any were there in the Bronco.
I was trying to get a representative sample of the blood that was present, yes.
Well, weren't you looking for every red stain you could find, anywhere you could find it?
I do not try to collect every stain present at a crime scene or in a vehicle. I will attempt to collect a representative sample of the evidence or blood, in this case, that's there.
It wasn't your intention when you were doing this search of the Bronco on June 14th to collect every red stain you could find in that vehicle?
Your Honor, it's asked and answered argument.
I tried to collect a representative sample of the red stains that were in that vehicle.
Mr. Fung, are you saying that you tried to collect a representative sample because you have seen subsequent pictures of the Bronco and there's in some places just as many red stains 3 months later as when you conducted your search?
Assumes facts, not evidence.
Stain.
You knew when you were conducting your search of the Bronco that any red stains you found there would be subject to future DNA analysis.
I believe some of them could be, yes.
Well, when you were conducting the search, you were operating on that premise, were you not? That any red stain you found in that vehicle would subsequently or could subsequently be subject to DNA analysis.
It had not been the practice of the LAPD to submit every sample to DNA processing, so the answer is no.
You mean you thought that some might be sent for DNA analysis and some might not be?
Those stains which had ample material present and were suitable for DNA testing would have been sent on, yes.
Well, and were you not instructed that any stain that you were collecting for purposes of DNA analysis, that it was your instructions to get as much of that as you could?
Stains collected for DNA analysis, yes.
Well, when you were conducting the search of the red stains that you found in the Bronco, did you decide, well, this stain, that they're going to use for DNA, but this stain, they won't?
He's not a serologist.
When there is a larger stain, I will try to collect as much of it, and I will try to get, for smaller stains, I will collect those also.
So isn't it fair to say, sir, that when you were conducting this search on June 14th, you had no idea which of these the laboratory would want to use for DNA analysis and which they wouldn't?
That would be up to the serologist to decide.
That wasn't your decision to make, right?
Up to a certain point, it would be my decision because I would decide which bloodstains to collect.
Well, as you were conducting this search, did you take the position that you saw a blood stain, but you didn't think it was particularly relevant, so you weren't going to collect it?
If I had collected a bloodstain near it that was representative of that area, I would have left the other stain.
Isn't one of the things that you were instructed to do when collecting blood stains is that if you find more than one distinct stain, they should be treated as different stains and collected separately? Isn't that something you were instructed to do?
That is up to the discretion of the person collecting the evidence.
So it's your testimony that you took it upon yourself when you were conducting this search of the Bronco on June 14th, not to collect as much as you could of certain red stains. You were making that decision.
I would collect a representative sample, yes.
In your 10 times reviewing your testimony with Mr. Goldberg, did the issue come up of not collecting stains in the Bronco on June 14th?
Well, this makes the testimony yes, and you looked at it.
Rephrase the question.
In your preparation sessions with Mr. Goldberg, did the issue arise of the completeness of your swatching of red stains on June 14th?
We touched on it briefly, yes.
Briefly?
Yes.
What's brief? How many, was it an hour discussion?
Less.
Half hour?
Less.
In the course of that discussion, did the two of you decide that it would be a good thing to use this phrase representative sample to explain your failure or apparent failure to collect stains on June 14th?
That has always been my term.
Your turn. I'm about to show showed Mr. Goldberg two photographs.
Have we marked these already?
I believe, actually, I'll ask them to be separately marked for his defense exhibits, but I believe that they're pictures that are on the board of the prosecution.
Right, proceed.
Okay, let's look at this one first. Now, that is a photograph of the console that was taken at your direction on June 14th.
Yes, it is.
All right, and there's one smear there that's 30. That's labeled 30. Which one is that? Could you indicate that to us? Carl, yours does. Maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can't. No. Oh, there we go. You see where that red, is that stain, is that smear that I'm circling there, 30
That's the area, oh, the parent area,
of 30? Is that correct?
in that general location.
Indicating just to the left of the marker.
Of the marker that says 30,
That's correct.
and it extends from the console top down below it. Is that correct?
It's hard to tell from the photos, but it is in that general location.
And then 31 was a smear that you found at the rear of the console in the area that I'm circling now that's just below the evidence tag that says 31.
Yes.
Okay?
All right, do we want to mark this photograph separately?
Yes, I asked that this photograph be marked 10. 1090, I believe.
I thought I 87. I had 1087. 1087.
Now, this is a picture of June 14th, correct?
Yes, it is.
And this picture is taken before you swatched stains from the console of the Bronco.
Yes.
In other words, after the photograph is taken, you entered the vehicle with some swatches. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you went to the smears labeled 30 and 31, and following instructions, you tried to get as much as you could because you knew that there would be subsequent DNA analysis of those smears.
Mistakes of testimony.
That's not what
Sustained. First question.
All right? Did you swatch stain 30?
Yes, I did.
And when you swatched stain 30, didn't you think that that would be a sample that would be used for subsequent DNA analysis?
I did not think it was a good candidate for DNA analysis.
You did not think, withdrawn. Mr. Fung, I thought you told us that you didn't consider yourself a DNA person,
I'm not.
that you had not been through serology,
That's correct.
that you had no particular expertise, you had limited knowledge, to use your words, of DNA analysis,
Yes.
that you had a brief course in what one should do in collecting bloodstains for purposes of DNA analysis.
A brief lecture.
Brief lecture. But part of that brief lecture, withdrawn, part of the oral instructions that you had gotten on how to collect stains for DNA analysis was to get as much as you could of a sample when you thought it might be for future DNA analysis, correct?
Wow, I wonder if only he would have asked that question before 17,000 times.
Blood stains collected for DNA analysis require, from the training I got, a lot of blood, and this was not a lot of blood, so I did not think that it was a good candidate for DNA testing.
So it's your position that because it wasn't a lot of blood, you decided not to swatch as much of it as you could?
I got a representative sample from it.
Well, doesn't it follow that if you're going to be conducting DNA analysis, and you have a small sample, that you would want to get absolutely all of it to give the best possible chance to get a result.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. As far as you knew from the oral instructions you got, isn't it true that when swatching a sample for purposes of subsequent DNA analysis that was comparatively small, you would want to make sure to get absolutely all of it to make sure there was something available for testing?
If that swatch was for DNA testing, yes.
Well, Mr. Fung, is it your testimony that you looked at the smear that's number 30, and you decided on your own on June 14th, Ed foretells that this smear was not going to be used for DNA testing. Therefore, you were free not to follow your instructions and collect it all.
Misstates the testimony. That's also compound.
Overruled.
As to Bertel's, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Right. I'm sorry. This was at the
Rephrase it.
print shed. Is it your testimony that you took it upon yourself when swatching stain 30 on June 14th to disregard your previous instructions to get as much of the sample as you could because you decided that this stain wouldn't be a candidate for DNA testing?
I did not feel that stain was a good candidate for DNA testing.
And you felt competent and secure in this case to make that decision without consulting anybody on the morning of June 14th?
I did not consult anybody, no.
Well, I asked you, did you feel competent and secure in doing that?
Yes,
Let's look at number 31. Is your answer the same with respect to number 31?
what's the question?
The question is, looking at number 31, weren't you operating on the assumption that it was your responsibility to collect as much of that stain as you possibly could? Because it could be used for future DNA analysis.
I was trying to collect a representative sample of 31 also.
So in other words, for 31, you also decided on your own, wasn't a good candidate for DNA testing, and therefore you didn't have to collect it all. Is that your testimony?
I collected a representative sample of 31 also.
Or you didn't attempt to collect it all, or is that what you're telling us?
I did not collect it all, no.
Now, this is a picture of the console that Mr. Goldberg showed you on direct examination, but it was in that chart, right?
I don't recall the exact picture.
Well, do you recall this as being a picture of the console? You've seen withdrawn. You've seen pictures of the console that were taken on August 26th, have you not?
I'm not sure of the date, but I have seen this picture. I don't know if it's the picture that's on the board, though.
And it's your understanding that this picture or pictures like it of the console that you've been shown were taken on August 26th?
I don't know the date.
Well, you knew they were taken some 3 months after you did swatching.
They were taken sometime after I was done with my initial search, yes.
And were there discussions with you that it looked as though, withdrawn, you see where it says 303 in this picture?
Yes.
All right. Now, if one assumes that 303 refers to the smear to the left of it that runs from the top of the console down below, just to the left of what is marked 306, does that appear to be a stain in exactly the same position as stain number 30 that you identified on June 14th?
It's in the same relative position, yes.
And as far as looking at it, does it look any different to you in this picture than what you saw on June 14th?
The lighting conditions are much better.
Right. So it looked like there's any less stain there.
It wouldn't be fair to make a comparison from the lighting conditions on June 14th and the lighting conditions back in the laboratory.
Mr. Schick, you want to mark this photo?
Yes. This is,
1088.
1088. And the spot that's labeled 304, that red stain area, is that in the same position as the one that was marked, that you marked as 31 on June 14th?
It's in the same relative area.
And does it appear to have as much red stain, taken into account lighting conditions, but the best you can tell from this picture, as what you saw on June 14th before you even began swatching?
The lighting conditions are so different that it's It's just a different thing. I can't really compare. I
Now-
know that I did collect blood from that area, though.
At some point, before you came to testify in this case, did you have discussions with anybody at the SID laboratory about the fact that stains that you identified on June 14th on the console seemed to reappear in August of 1994?
It's argumentative.
Sustained.
Did you have any discussions with anyone at SID about the fact that stains which you said you swatched on June 14th were still present on August 26th?
Yes,
Spoke to Michelle Kessler about that?
yes.
When did you speak to her?
I don't recall the exact date.
Was it between June and August?
Our chat, we are still complaining about the same things that we were complaining about a couple days ago with this testimony. The exact same problem.
I don't recall the exact time frame. It was shortly after she had done a search.
She had done a search
Well, she participated in one, yes.
of the Bronco.
Yes.
And did you discuss this with anybody else in the laboratory besides Michelle Kessler?
Mr. Matheson was also present.
And where did this conversation take place?
This took place in her office, Miss Kessler's office, Mrs. Kessler's office.
Was that, was it in the month of August, do you recall?
I don't recall the exact
In the
month.
month of September?
I don't know.
Was it prior, how long was it prior to coming in here and testifying?
Months.
All right. And it was before you began your preparation sessions with the district attorney's office?
Yes.
And let's take a look at the bottom of this exhibit. You see another red stain that's labeled 305. See that?
Yes.
Did you see that on June 14th?
I don't recall if I did or not. I didn't mark it down as something I was going to collect, though.
Well, when you conducted this search of the Bronco on June 14th, did you search the front seat area?
The front seat area?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The driver's seat,
Yes.
the passenger seat,
Yes.
between the seats?
What do you mean between?
I mean, between the driver's and the
You
passenger
mean the
seat.
console area?
The console area,
Yes, I did.
both
look at the
sides of
console.
it?
Yes.
Did you look under the driver's seat from the front?
Yes, I did.
Did you look under the passenger seat from the front?
Yes, I did.
Did you look under the passenger seat from the back area?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Did you look under the driver's seat from the back area?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Did you get into the back area, the back seat area of the Bronco when you were conducting this search?
At a later portion, yes, I did.
And you saw some red stains on this console, did you not? On June 14th?
I did see red stains on the console, yes.
And when seeing red stains on the console, didn't you then examine that console as carefully as you could, simply because you saw some red stains on it?
I examined the console for red stains.
Examine it carefully.
I examined it for red stains.
You won't say you examined it carefully?
What do you mean by carefully?
With care.
Yes.
And Mr. Fung, has it been suggested to you that there's a potential contradiction between the fact that you collected stains on June 14th, but there are more stains on August 26th than there were on June 14th?
Sustained.
Was there any discussion with you about how you should answer questions about these red stains and their appearance on June 14th and August 26th with members of the district attorney's office?
We touched on the subject briefly, but not very long.
Did you have discussions with Michelle Kessler about how you should testify on this subject?
No,
Did you have discussions with Greg Matheson about how you should testify on this subject?
no.
Did anybody express concern to you that if you had followed if the jury were to believe you followed your instructions on collecting stains for DNA analysis?
I don't like the way this question's
You
going.
can tell. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll withdraw it. Was there any discussion with you by personnel at SID that if you had followed the instructions for collecting stains for purposes of DNA analysis, this red stain that is 31 on June 14th and 303 on August 26th shouldn't have been there on August 26th?
They did indicate that they would have liked me to collect more of the stain.
They? Who's they?
Miss, Miss Kessler and Mr. Matheson.
Well, did they indicate to you that if you took the position that you had followed expected procedures, that the stain found on August 26th shouldn't have been there?
They didn't say that, no.
Did they express any concern about that?
They did say they did want to know why all of the stain wasn't gone by the time they got there.
When you went back to the Bronco on June 28th to get the shovel and the plastic bag and the towel, did you see the red stains on the console?
I didn't look at.
When
at
you
the-
finished your
Hold on,
analysis.
Mr. Scheck. Mr. Scheck, you need to let him finish his answer.
I thought he did, I'm sorry.
I didn't
You
look.
finished,
No, it wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
I did not look specifically at the console on that date.
When you finished your analysis of the Bronco on June 14th, finished collecting the stains, did you go back to SID?
Yes,
Did you fill out a report about what you had collected?
the property report, yes.
Well, did you fill out this vehicle search checklist report?
Filled out portions of it, yes.
You went back and you discussed with Greg Matheson what you had found in the Bronco.
That day,
That's it.
I don't know if I discussed it with him, what I collected that day or not.
Did you discuss it with him? That would be June 14th, correct?
Yes,
In the afternoon of June 14th, did you go back and have any discussions with Greg Matheson about what you'd found?
at the Bronco.
Yeah.
I don't recall if it was that afternoon or not.
Would it have been the 15th?
It may have been.
So either on the 14th or the 15th, you went back and you had a conversation with Mr. Matheson about what you'd found.
Yes,
Did you have a conversation with Ms. Shell Kessler about what you found?
no,
When you went back and had your conversation with Mr. Matheson, did you tell him that you found red stains in the Bronco?
yes,
And did you tell him that you'd swatched some of the red stains from the console, but you didn't get it all?
I didn't state that, no.
Did you tell him that you left red stains in the console?
No,
Is it your testimony that you really left those red stains in the console, the ones that are in the position of 31 and 30 on June 14th, 303 and 304 on August 26th? You just knowingly left them there.
I collected representative samples from them.
And you did not tell anybody when you went back to the crime lab that you just collected representative samples and left most of those stains still on the console.
Correct.
And to your knowledge, you never saw the stain in the position of that's marked in this photograph, 305.
I didn't make a note of it.
Did you swatch anything from that?
From 305?
Yeah.
No, not that area.
Did you see it and decide not to swatch something? Is that your testimony?
Saying that's what may have happened.
And you're saying that's what may have happened because if 305 weren't there on June 14th, but it were there on August 26th, that wouldn't be very good, would it?
Sustain.
Well, did anybody express concern to you about the possibility that if 305 weren't there on June 14th, but it was there on August 26th, that would raise serious concerns at SID?
No one said that to me, no.
Now, Mr. Fung, on June 28th, were you involved in the execution of a search warrant at Mr. Simpson's residence at Rockingham?
Yes,
And just give me a moment, Your Honor. You might- I'm sorry.
Jury a chance to stand and stretch if they like.
That's true. Thank you very
All
much.
right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and take a stretch if you like. Audience can do so silently, Ms. Feldy.
Oh, sugar, I forgot about the coffee mug. No, that would have been perfect. It wasn't a planned Harry Potter trivia. It just sort of magically happened. Pun. I love puns.
Now, on June 28th, you were part of a search team to go back and execute a search warrant at Mr. Simpson's property at Rockingham. It's foundational, Your Honor.
All right, I'll allow a few questions, but let me see where we're going.
Were you not?
Yes,
And you attended a briefing that morning before you went and executed the warrant.
yes,
And you were instructed to look for a particular knife, were you not?
All right, let me see. Counsel, with court, please. All right, thank you, counsel. Proceed.
Guess I didn't have to look so much. Mr.
Yeah.
Fung, let me take you back to June 13th. You began your day by conducting a search at Rockingham,
yes,
and then you left and went to Bundy.
yes,
Then you came back to Rockingham.
yes.
And when you came back to Rockingham, about what time was that?
Approximately 3:30.
And, excuse me, your instructions when you came back to Rockingham was to participate in the execution of a search warrant,
Yes,
to participate in a search.
yes,
And you had just come from a very bloody crime scene at Bundy.
yes,
And when you came back to Rockingham, you were looking for, if you could find it, bloody shoes.
upon returning to Rockingham, we were looking for any items that could have possible blood on them.
And that would include bloody shoes.
Yes,
It would include bloody pants.
yes,
It would include a bloody shirt.
yes,
It would include loose hairs that you might find that were covered in blood.
again, we were looking for items with blood on them,
Well, that would include hairs that might be covered in blood.
possibly.
That would include fibers that might be covered in blood.
Possibly.
That would include flakes of dry blood.
Yes,
Any trace, the smallest trace of blood evidence, you were searching for within Mr. Simpson's residence?
We were searching for items of blood.
And that would include the smallest trace of blood you could find anywhere in Mr. Simpson's residence.
No, not the smallest trace, no.
Not the smallest trace.
No.
Well, when you entered Mr. Simpson's residence in Rockingham and went up towards the master bedroom, you had to go up a stairwell.
Yes,
And there are 16 steps on that stairwell.
I didn't count them.
Something on that order?
Something around there, yes.
And those steps are covered in a white carpet.
I don't recall what the steps were covered in.
Well, it was a light covered carpet.
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Well, when you went up towards Mr. Simpson's master bedroom, up that stairwell, you were looking for traces of blood if you could find it on the ground.
All over that area, yes.
And you found no trace of wet blood on that carpet.
That's correct.
You found no flakes of dried blood on that white carpet.
That's correct.
You found no hairs or fibers covered in wet or dried blood on that carpet.
That's correct.
And then you proceeded up those stairs and you walked down a hallway towards the master bedroom.
Yes.
And that was covered in the same kind of carpet.
I don't recall the carpet or what kind of carpet was there.
You saw no trace of wet blood on that
He's been
carpet,
testifying for a
No.
week.
of dried flaking blood on that carpet.
Correct.
On the banister or the walls of that stairwell, did you see any trace of wet or dried blood?
I did not detect any blood on that area.
And you were looking when you went up that stairwell for any hair or fiber evidence that could be associated with the Bundy scene.
Not fiber evidence, no.
Hair evidence.
If it was apparent, I would have seen it.
None apparent.
That's correct.
None that you could see.
None that I detected.
None that Ms. Mazzola brought to your attention.
That's correct.
None that any of the detectives brought to your attention.
That's correct.
And then you got to Mr. Simpson's master bedroom.
Yes.
And you were looking for bloody clothing in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom.
Yes.
Bloody towels,
Any object with blood on it.
bloody bed sheets,
If possibly, yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to have this picture marked as defendant's next in order.
1089.
Yes, another one that I asked you to mark is 1090.
All right, photo 1090.
Show you these two photographs. You recognize 1089 and 1090.
That appears to be the Rockingham address, stairwell, and hallway leading to the master bedroom.
It's a fair and accurate representation of the general layout of the stairwell and the hallway leading to the master bedroom as you saw it on June 14th,
Is it June 14th?
as it was on June 13th. I'm sorry.
It was on June 13th. That's fairly accurate, yes.
All right, Mr. Sheck is 89 the stairwell and 90 the hallway.
Yes. That's 1089. That's the stairwell, is it not, Mr. Fung?
Yes,
And would you agree that's a white or light colored carpet?
it is a light colored carpet.
And now showing you 1090, sir. And that's the same kind of carpet leading into the master bedroom.
It appears to be.
Now, when you entered the master bedroom, I think we were saying you were looking for bloody clothes.
Those were among the items of evidence we were looking for, yes.
And the truth is, sir, that on June 13th, you found no blood on any clothes in Mr. Simpson's bedroom.
I personally found blood on any clothes?
Yes.
I did not detect blood on any of the clothes, no.
And did you detect any blood on light switches,
No,
doorknobs?
no,
Did you conduct a search of the sink trap in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom?
yes, I did.
And did you perform a phenolphthalein presumptive test on the sink trap in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom?
Yes,
Oh gosh, he's
And
it's
that
like fingers,
test
nails on a
came
chalkboard
out
right now.
negative for blood, for the presence of blood.
that's correct.
Now, you saw 2 socks in front of Mr. Simpson's bed,
Yes, I did.
and these socks were placed right in front of his bed.
They were in the middle of a throw rug area.
And did they have the appearance to you that someone had just left them there hurriedly?
Sustained.
Well, as you saw those socks, did the thought cross your mind that they looked like socks that had been left there by someone in a hurry, right in front of the bed?
Sustained.
Could you describe for us how the socks lay on that throw rug?
No. I mean, what kind of description do you want?
Well, were they neatly folded?
No, they were not.
Did they look to you at the time you saw them as though someone had just taken them off?
The socks appeared out of place in the middle of the throw rug.
They appeared out of place,
Yes,
and your attention was drawn to them.
yes.
And you immediately that these socks might be a critical piece of evidence.
I didn't know if they were critical, but they were out of place.
Well, you had just come from a bloody crime scene,
Yes,
and you had seen shoe prints in blood leading to the back rear of that crime scene.
yes.
Weren't you very interested in examining the ankle areas of these socks?
I collected them so that they could be examined, yes.
That's not my question. On June 13th, when you saw the socks, were you not interested in examining the ankle area of those socks?
I collected the socks so they could be analyzed at a later date.
Asking about you. Were you not interested in examining the ankle areas of those socks when you saw them on June 13th? You.
I did not perform a test on them, no.
I'm not asking you whether you performed a test. I'm asking whether you were interested in examining visually the ankle areas of those socks when you saw them on June 13th.
Yes,
And you were interested in the ankle areas because it is the ankle areas that you would most expect to have blood on them if someone had been involved in a bloody killing such as the one you saw at the Bundy crime scene.
not just the ankle area, no.
Well, ordinarily, wouldn't you expect the most blood from a scene such as you had witnessed at Bundy to be on the ankle areas when a pant leg came up?
That is a possible area that blood could be in.
Wasn't that more likely, in your mind, to be an exposed area than the heel or the sole?
That would depend on the circumstances.
Well, as you were thinking about it on June 13th, weren't you particularly interested in the ankle areas?
It's been asked and answered now.
I'm sorry. You're right. Now, when you looked at the ankle areas of those socks on June 13th, you did not see a smear of blood, did you?
I did not look that closely, so I didn't see any smear of blood.
You've had a number of discussions with the district attorneys in this case about your testimony, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And you've had discussions with people at SID.
Yes,
And you're aware that questions have been raised about the handling of the sock in this case.
Objection, Your Honor. That proceeds back on evidence.
Sustained.
Are you aware that questions have been raised about the handling of the sock in this case?
no,
No one has said that to you from SID?
nobody has.
In your discussions about your testimony with people at SID, has anybody suggested to you that it might be a good idea to say that you didn't look at those socks very carefully on June 13th?
Nobody's said that to me.
Did any district attorney suggest to you in the course of preparing you to testify that it might be a good idea to say that you didn't look very carefully at the ankle areas of those socks on June 13th?
No one had to tell me to say that. That's the truth.
Oh. Now, you saw no trace of blood, wet or dry, in the white carpet area near the sock in Mr. Simpson's master bedroom.
I believe the socks were on a throw
I
rug.
understand. Before you get to the throw rug, there's a carpet area in the master bedroom.
Yes,
Or in that carpet area, you saw no wet blood or flakes of blood.
that's correct.
On the light tan throw rug where the socks were, did you see any flakes of blood at all?
No,
And when blood dries, in your experience, it does get crusted and flake,
depends on how much blood is present.
but that happens.
It does happen in certain circumstances.
And you would be very, very interested to see even a flake of blood near those socks on the throw rug on June 13th. Isn't that right?
Yes,
You may want to tell us, sir, that you weren't looking very carefully at the socks, but you certainly were looking carefully at that throw rug.
Sustained. All right, Mr. Scheck, we're going to take a court reporter break at this point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 15-minute recess to change court reporters. Please remember all of my admonitions to you. Do not discuss the case amongst yourselves. Do not form any opinions about the matter. Do not allow anybody to communicate with you. Do not conduct any deliberations until the matter has been submitted to you. We'll be in recess for 15. All right, Mr. Fung, you can step in.
You couldn't just go on for 7 more minutes, Judge.
I'd like to address the
No.
issue of the phenolphthalein again in light of the
All right.
questions that were asked.
It was a good run. We
May I
didn't
do
make
that
it to
now?
2 hours, but we
At 4:30.
almost did. Thank you so much for coming out today, guys. I'm just letting it play till we get to people.
Again,
That's
Mr.
good
Fung, you
enough.
reminded you were still.
Yeah. I hope that you guys have a great day. I think I did the math, sort of. And again, we should get done with OJ around mid-December, maybe. It's hard to do the math because I would have to go into the next 300 videos and get the timing of each video and then divide it by 2 hours, which is what we normally do. And I'm not doing that. So I'm estimated about an hour and a half. Each video in this list is about an hour and a half. Some are an hour, some are 2 hours. I estimated each to be an hour and a half. Divided that by 200. So we have until mid-December until OJ is done. I was thinking about maybe doing like some OJ marathons that are 8 hours each, but it really wouldn't change the goalpost at all. We're here till December. And we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. And it's all right because we're almost done with the prosecution. And then we get to the defense when it really gets good. So we did good. Have a good day, guys. And I'll see you again really, really soon. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.